Here, would you read us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, that invitation also goes to the council. We'd love to have you guys there. We'll let you know when that is. Specifically, we are going to try to get, we have names all the way back to June 9th. So we'll see who all we get.
Carter, he was the first one I remember.
All right. Officially get started. We'll start with a roll call. Misty Collins.
Here.
Anita Lowry.
Here.
Jeff Up. Here. Jan Throgmorton.
Happy to be here.
John Collins. Here. Kira Hungate.
Here.
Don Rollins. Here. Joe Tower.
Here.
City Attorney. City Clerk are both present. So we'll need a motion to approve our agenda as it was mailed.
I'll make that motion.
May I make an orthodox request, Mayor, that you amend the agenda to distribute opioids to everybody here? I mean, to pass a resolution to join the opioid lawsuit through the municipal league that I prepared for us, okay?
So we need to pass this out.
Well, yeah, we can, if someone will make a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll
to add
make
that
it.
On the new business.
Trust me, they gave me way more.
So we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda.
Misty wants her opioid, so that we can have opioids during the meeting.
I'm just teasing.
So, Marcia, we'll just add that to new business. Item 4.
Item 4?
Janet Marshall.
Thank you.
So we have a motion second to amend the agenda. All those in favor say yes.
Who seconded that motion?
I did.
Okay, Misty, thank you.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say yes. Say no. Motion carries. All right, so now we need approval for minutes for the December 12th meeting. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, so that brings us to our public forum. If anyone would like to address the council, we'll allow you 2 minutes to come and tell us what a wonderful job we're doing or what a wonderful job the city's doing. Anybody like to address the council?
Start with you, John.
Would you like me to address them?
No? Okay. We'll move into our business reports. Our first business report is Planning Commission, Scott Oliver. Scott's not here, and as of Monday, he has officially resigned as chairman of the Planning Commission. So, I will let you know that the Planning Commission is working. We had it within one member of being replenished.
So close.
So close. But they are working on their book of ordinances, and it needs it. It's badly outdated. And I think they have a vision. I think they have a plan that they're putting together. It's not going to happen overnight, but they are beginning to work on that. They meet the third Thursday of each month. So if anybody can make it to those meetings, I know they would appreciate it. I would appreciate it, just to help give them direction of where the council feels the city needs to move toward. That kind of guidance, I think, would help a lot, go a long ways with what they're trying to do there. Any questions about the Planning Commission? Okay. Up next is our library report. John?
All right. Good evening. The library is going well. Things are rolling along at the library. We had a busy December. Not necessarily. Our circulation was a little bit down compared to some previous years. We'll put the statistics in the packet. But we did have. We're very busy with the silent auction and We had the breakfast plus pizza with Santa this year for the second year, and I think altogether about $2,000 were raised by the friends between those two events, and created a lot of good holiday spirit. And we're looking forward to our upcoming expansion and all the things that are going to be involved with that. And we're looking forward to the meeting with the architect. Looks like it's been set in January 19th, I think. So our second meeting with Brett Park, and anyway, getting ready for the transition, and looks like we'll have a space at the community center for a while this year while construction is going on. So the one thing that's happening that we want to get the word out about and promote as much as possible is that we started a partnership with the Jefferson Adult Education Center in Fayetteville. One of their instructors, Diana Strange, is a West Fork resident, and she wants to offer some classes here in West Fork. So we're going to start out with we hope, with a GED class, and so we're going to be distributing flyers. We've already got them prepared around town, trying to gauge the interest of how many people would be interested in a class like that. And when we get enough interest, we'll go ahead and organize the class and the schedule and everything. So look for those flyers if you know of anyone who is interested, or you know of people who would know who is interested. Get the word out, because we really want to get this program underway. I think it'll be a real plus for the community, and something that the library seems is a very good fit to do. Things like the GED classes. Diana Strange also teaches an employment training. It's like a 12-week course, and you get a certificate at the end. Do a lot of computer work and other things, sort of. I'm sure they work on resumes and things like that, but preparing people for employment. So those are the kind of things that we hope to offer through the partnership. So we're excited about it. And I guess nothing else that I can think of. And any questions or?
John, something you and I have talked about a little bit with the new library is the computer usage.
Yeah.
And so on this report, it looks like 268 people accessed the computers last month, which is about 10 or 12 people a day. Is that pretty consistent with what you're seeing down there? Was December a big month?
Seems a little low, yeah. Although we were closed a few more days than normal in December, but there are probably several people a day at least that don't sign the sheet like they're supposed to, and I don't always catch that. But it's it's a good question. I mean, we have 5 computers right now, and we've talked about doubling the size in the new building, but then again, we don't want to go overboard and have a bunch of computers that nobody's using. And then again, a lot of people bring in laptops and things like nowadays anyway. So actually, it might be wise to just start out with 1 or 2 extra computers and see how that goes. But there are times, just from informal observation, there are times when all 5 of the computers are being used, and it just depends on the time of day, or a lot of times we rarely have people waiting, I guess, but there's almost always at least one person on the computer. But so it's it's one of those things hard to really gauge how many we actually need, but we find people are appreciative of that we have them, I guess. So whether we're getting full usage or not of them, but
any other questions for John?
Could you update us on the library extension or how that's going? Or?
So we have a meeting with, like he said, with the architect on the 19th at 4 o'clock. He wanted me to let you know about that. So that's really all we have at this point. No, we don't. There's not an update. There will be after this meeting. Yeah.
Okay. So odds are they'll probably be in there in December, or maybe not.
The library?
Yeah, will the library be in, do you think they'll
I'm
be
gonna say
in
no.
December?
In December? Yeah, probably so. We'll know more about that on the 19th, but I don't know, it is just January, but that seems like a tight schedule for us to get it built when we don't even have a final set of plans.
Is there schematics that this Brett doesn't have a preliminary? Might not be likely.
Okay.
I'll have to say that the times I've been to the library, it's usually after 4:30, close to 5. The computers are usually open. So I imagine it is hard. I mean, sometimes probably 5's not enough, and sometimes too many.
And that's one of the concerns with the drawing was, I think some on the Friends of the Library or the library board maybe wanted less computers and more workspace, and there was kind of a give and take there, wrangling of what do we want in the library.
Right.
But I think having a report like that will definitely help make some of those decisions. Any other questions for John? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pauletta?
Okay, we finished our year about $75,000 above where we were this time last year. So that was great. John's got more guys working, so we're collecting more money. We've got our new computers are here. Mine's already installed. We're still working some bugs out, like, the program where I have to download my e-tickets that the guys produced was not there when I went to look for it. But it's there now. We've got all those things worked out. So now we've got mine pretty much set up and going. We'll get Vicky's going probably next week and have everything done. And she's now working with 2 computer screens, or she just thinks she's all that.
Makes a big difference.
It does. It makes a big difference. It's kind of fun. Yeah. But I lose the mouse. It's on the wrong screen most of the time. And a little input when John was talking about, his computer use. I have at least 2 or 3 times a day that I direct people to the library to use their computers to get forms for the court, because I don't supply every form that they need for everything. But they can get those forms from the administrative office of the court in Little Rock. They're all on there to be downloaded, but they've got to have a computer to do it. So I just direct them to their local library. Anybody have any questions for me?
No questions for Paulette? Thank you.
I guess we're up.
Chief?
Thanks for the business.
We had 378 calls for service. It says 23, but it was 31 reports taken. 150 citations, 37 warrant arrests, and then on review arrests were 2 felony, 8 misdemeanor. Let's see. I gotta do a little flipping here. We signed up for the Carfax. I don't know if you know what that is. It's Carfax for police. Pretty much what we do is we send them our accident reports. In return, we have access to their system. On our phones, we can now scan a VIN, or we can run a license plate if we have a theft or a ring of thefts, and that will show us anything Carfax knows as far as where they're getting oil changes, where they've been, anywhere in the United States. So it just kind of helps us track them down. And it's free. That's a free service for us. We're in the process of signing up for the Law Enforcement Support Office. I guess more on that later. It's a $250 cost a year. Do you want me to get into that right now, or just
wait, yeah.
Just wait? Yeah. Okay, we'll skip on that one too. We also got a $10,000 grant from the Highway Safety Office for in-car computers. We'll match that with $1,000. They'll give us $9,000, so it'll be a total of $10,000. I got some little pretty graphs in here. This is from our eSite e-tickets. I'll kind of explain these. I'm proud of them, even though I can't cut and copy or print in color. This is only for about 5 months, but it just shows you our activity. I think it's a pretty neat deal on the e-crash. The first one just shows that over 5 months, we wrote 344 tickets and had 430 warnings. The next graph will show you tickets by citations by the time of day to show what's the busiest time of day for us when we're writing the most citations. And the last one shows you what the busiest days in West Fork are for actually, which surprised me. I figured Friday would be up there, but it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We also found out through the Eastside E-Crash that you're more likely to have an accident in West Fork on Tuesday than any other day. That's not in here. Than any other day of the week. It's just some interesting things. Also, we heard back from the Bentonville Police Department. I guess they're blessed. They get rid of their cars at 50,000 miles.
Wow.
They have offered to give us a Crown Vic that will have a radio, a cage, be completely outfitted with lights. The only thing it won't have is our striping. That's a free deal. That's something their chief does. I guess they have money in it. I think it would make a great backup car for us. It costs, what, about $300 to stripe it, and we've got a car with 50,000 miles. And they keep great records, so they have all records on things done to the car.
Price is right.
No doubt. I think that's about all I have.
I've got one question.
Yes.
Who's out on Tuesday when you look out for?
You know, I don't know. People just kind of let Tuesday go, I think.
Monday was stressful, so they take that on Tuesday.
Yes.
So John, I had a question for you. You have this sheet in here that has, it looks like it's a count, I think it's for the whole year of the various different citations you guys have written.
Let me see which one.
It's right after the pie graph.
I believe that's going to be an account of the citations we've written on e-ticket, e-site, on that through the computer.
So just in the last 5 months and not...
Right, this is not going to be a complete count. This is just what we wrote through their system.
Okay. My question was, we've only written we've written 3 tickets total for drugs. For controlled substance, we've written 2 different types of tickets, and then 1 for paraphernalia. So 3 tickets total, and that was my question.
We're well over that.
Okay.
And felonies, you don't write citations.
Okay.
If it's a felony like meth, we're just going to take them to jail. We're not going to write a citation.
You write a probable cause.
Okay.
But we're still over that.
That's great. If that's all the drug problem we had.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we have more than that, for sure.
That's a
Anything else?
Anything else for John?
This is cool.
We'll get into the color printing when we get into his budget in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking
Isaac?
I don't have a whole lot. As you can see by our minutes, our main focal point has been our contract, our sewer contract with Fayetteville. We're still working through that. ANRC is pushing on us a little bit to get that done, to get the next part moving in the right direction. The sewer line to Fayetteville, so
What's the holdup still?
language. We thought we were close, and then Fayetteville kicked one back at us that we just sat down and went through for the first time, the mayor and Tom and I. And I think if we get it cleaned up, we're probably about 90%. I think we can get some language cleaned up in there, and we'll have it at the next committee meeting. I think we'll be there. So.
So a lot of it is just the broadness of it.
They classify users in there in the pre-treatment clause or the pre-treatment part, and users could be you, or it could be an industry that comes in here. Well, the industry needs to have the pre-treatment. You don't.
So you've got to specify.
Yeah, they need to clarify that more specifically in the contract. Nick did tell me this morning that Allison with the ANRC that's looking at our what our bill would actually go up to, and presented that to to Mark Bennett at ANRC. It looks right now like we're going to get a 60-40 on our forgiveness, which will be 3.2 million.
So it already went up
Yeah,
10%?
yeah. 3.2 million would be our portion of it.
And that is a home run for the city of Westport.
Yeah.
And we're still pushing for more.
Alan Johnson is still pushing for 70-30, and that would be awesome, but they didn't jump on that, so it's looking more like 60-40. So
Let Alan get to go.
yeah,
And just to give the council an idea, so what we're kind of looking at with sewer revenue, where they originally started, we would be about $15,000 a month short with our current billing practices of paying for the bond and the treatment that we're going to have, that Fayetteville will provide to that sewer. So we would be losing about $15,000 a month without a rate increase or something like that. But
it comes out to we'd be about $157,000 short at the end of the year.
so with every little bit that they forgive,
Yeah.
that is a huge break for our citizens.
Well, and Nick and I talked through the fact that we need to keep working on our meter situation, because I mean that's our cash register. So every gallon of water that goes through a meter that's not counted is a gallon of sewer that we're not collecting money on. So we need to keep working on that as well. Water loss did go up. We had a couple main breaks, one on Centennial and one down in Acres. It'll stay up for next month. We've already fixed 4 leaks since the first of the year, so
It's still so dry. Weather.
yeah, weather, ground's dry, cold. New Year's night, New Year's Eve, we were out over here by Harps and brought the New Year's in right here at Campbell. So we fixed 3 that night, so it was a long night. Other than that, that's all I got. The contract's been our main focal point.
Any questions for Isaac? Thank you, sir. Jeff?
I don't have a lot to report. It's pretty much just been working on winter projects, working on inventory still, and getting our forms updated and getting our files going through and ready for the move, things like that, helping out the other departments this winter. Stuff's been pretty slow, so I don't have a lot to report other than what's in your minutes. We have started our baseball and softball signups for the upcoming season. It's going pretty good,
So
including the one
gonna
Misty gave me. I got 2 now, so it's off to a good start. But I'm going to be at the Pee Wee games Saturday, and that'll start letting people know that we're doing it too. And I usually do pretty well then there. But it's that time of year. And to answer your question, Anita, they have hired a coordinator, and their plan is to play their games out there. I've been out there a couple of times to look at their facilities, and they still have a lot of work to do. I'm not saying they can't get them.
Some hurdles here and there.
I won't say they can't be ready, but they've got a lot of work to do to get ready. But my plan is not to have any Elkins teams at this point. I don't think they have a coordinator now. They can sign their own teams up, and they can do that. And if their fields aren't ready, they can play all away games. As far as that's my take. As the league could have a different opinion. We've discussed it quite often recently.
Well, everybody's helped out.
I'm not sure why. They've had a lot of time. They thought they could play last year, and here we are another year away, and they're still a long way from being ready. But
Well, don't get off that color.
no.
Yeah, there's a long story, but I've heard that story.
Oh yeah. Well, they got a nice flagpole, and that area is real nice. They don't have dugouts or foul poles or lots of other things, bases and things like that they need to play, but they do have a nice
Sorry, did you
flagpole.
say bases?
They don't have bases.
Okay.
They don't have foul poles.
But I appreciate
They don't have
that
dugouts.
he's helping out, because it's the kids that suffer if they don't have.
Yeah, I think they're probably getting a lot of pressure from their citizens to get it done. So when the mayor and the conversation he's had with them have kind of assured us that it'll be ready. So we'll see. But the plan is for them to play at Elkins, yes. So as far as parks go, that's about all I've got. Jennifer Sims wasn't able to be here to give y'all a summary of the beautification committee, so she asked me to do it. They have a meeting next Tuesday at 6:30, and then it'll switch over to the memorial meeting at 7. And then on the welcome sign, as y'all probably have seen, it did finally get engraved. We're waiting on, I think it turned out real nice, and I know that they have purchased some of the stuff they need for, like the lights for it, the solar lights that'll be on it, and some of the landscaping stuff, and I'm sure they're just waiting for, a little better weather to get all that put in. So, I think the Christmas light contest was a success. They wound up with 10 entries, correct, Mayor? And a lot of enthusiasm about that, and a lot of positive feedback, I think, and they're wanting to expand upon it next year and promote it a little bit more, and maybe add in, work in a Christmas parade and some other things to go along with it. And so we've had discussions about that.
Please don't encourage my parents anymore than you guys.
And so that's kind of what the beautification committee's working on also. So that's about all I got.
Any questions for Chad?
I wasn't here last month, but December looked great out there. Y'all did a great job on all the lights. And I just wanted to say thank you, because I thought y'all did great.
It was, it, as I told them, and it was a lot of work, but from all the departments, Isaac's crew, there were several of us down there lots of days getting those lights up and going, but it did turn out nice, and so we'll have to put a little more, but it won't be as bad next year. They're done up, and so.
Yeah, about the fire truck.
Yeah, and the fire department did that. We found the truck when we was going through some of that. It was down there, so I called Travis to see if they wanted it, to try to refurbish it and do something with it up there, and it turned out real nice. So,
Cool, I read the
and next year we'll have to, maybe we can get a few more fixed. I don't know. We fixed almost everything that was. We might go do a few more. We may want to try to get some going where we can put them over by the new city hall, or split some of these up that we have, because we'll have I think some needs to go over there also, of the ones that go along the right of way. So, all right.
Thanks, Chad. Chief Myers?
We got our ISO test results back. Well, exactly what we thought we would. The rule did change some, just basically because they've never been tested. The city didn't change. We're still at class 5. We expected it. Most of that's due to water supply. So once we can do more infrastructure work on getting the water supply up and down, then hopefully, and they'll retest it anytime. So it's not a big deal. So with that, probably going to have to look pretty soon at replacing our brush truck in Greenland. It has bit the dust on us, and bad time of year, but something that happens. Putting together figures to find out what's going to be our best option. So I don't know where I stand with that yet, but hopefully, that business, nothing's cheap. So put some stuff together and see where we fall with it. But that's all I have, guys. Unless y'all have any questions.
I have one. Are we under red flag right now?
Marshall, to be honest
You were
with
talking about the brush.
you, they put that on quite a while back. I never got any official word that they took that part off.
I couldn't find out. That's
Which
why
to me,
I wanted to ask.
red flag fire alert, to me is there's no use.
Really?
But they say it discourages people from outdoor burning.
But it doesn't.
All you're telling them is hurry up and I need to hurry burn this because we're going to put a burn ban on it. So, my opinion, I think they either let them burn or don't let them burn. One of the two. That's my official. Overall.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah. So I have not got any official word
Well, I
that they
know
can
it's
lift
been
it.
really dry, and
And it goes, even if we get rain, it takes grass and leaves an hour, and they're dried back out, and that's what they're burning. So,
Thank you.
that's it.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Kristen?
I'll put a year-end summary in the packets this time. I don't read all the numbers verbatim, but as you can see, in the city general fund, we've increased our bank balances by over $200,000 this year. We still have 1.3 million sitting back for our improvements on the buildings that are still to come. All of our departments minus one, and that's a technicality, came in under budget for a total of $219,000 under budget this year as a whole. And the water department also went up $60,000 in their bank balances and came in under budget $145,000. So all in all, we had a really good year. By far the best I've seen. Any specific questions about that? I know we're going to go on later and do some more on budgets and stuff, but.
Any more questions for Kristen? Thank you. So let's take this, we'll take this as old business, to look through these budget reports real quick. You guys had those, have you looked through them? Do you have any questions? So there's a page in here that looks really bad. Christie puts together this spreadsheet in the treasurer's report where she gives us a running tally each month. It's updated for our total income, our total expense, and our net income. It also has water loss on it. So we'll start with the positives on it. If you look at January, our water loss was 35%, and we haven't been close to that since. Isaac and his guys are doing some great work in that area. Where it looks bad, actually I may be on the wrong sheet. On the wrong sheet. Where is that sheet?
Other direction. For the water one.
For the water? There it is. So same, looks the same. But this one is just the treasurer's report for the city in the month. And if you look at total expense for each of the months, they're relatively the same all the way down. I mean, they vary a little bit, but then you get to December, and I saw that, and I went, what's going on here? All of a sudden, we spent a ton of money in December. And what I wanted to point out was that this isn't an end-of-year spending spree where we're trying to empty budgets. So, what makes up most of that, the reason why that number is so large in comparison to the rest of the months, we pay out at the end of the month, or at the end of the year rather, we pay out sick pay, we pay the firefighters, the volunteer runs there, the police officers get paid out their sick pay, and so we had a lot of end-of-year expenses come in there that it wasn't emptying budgets for the sake of preparing for a new budget, is what I'm getting at. And so if you go through each of their budgets, you can see, especially on salary, I think John he averages about $19,000 a month in salary. It was $36,000 he paid out in the month of December, but that is sick leave that the officers had accrued and they're paying out. Holiday pay, sorry. Same with the fire department. Another big one was Pauletta did empty her budget and buy some computers. If you remember at that December or November meeting, she talked about that. They had some money left over and they've been needing new computers, so she did spend about $7,000 or $8,000 on that. And then Isaac had a large variance in his where he spent $60,000 or something that normally would be spent, and it's a technicality with sidewalk project where we we paid money out for the completion of the sidewalk down here on McKnight, and will be reimbursed, but the reimbursement will come in 18.
So for the most part, it's reconciliation and the technicals.
Yes. And I hope you guys look through there. Not only were all departments within their budget except for what was it, water or street. But if you look through there, every department was above budget. So the city took in more money than it had budgeted in every department, which is, that's comprised of sales tax and various other things. But to me, that's a huge success. That shows that the city is growing. If we're growing above what we budgeted, that shows progress. And I think you've seen that in what Christy pointed out, most of the departments were under their expense budget. So it was a good year all in all. You guys have any other questions about that?
I think it shows too that our department heads are becoming more proactive and getting stuff in their budget as opposed to waiting to react to something. And I think they're doing a good job of.
We have strong department heads right
Yes,
now. I feel the same way.
Yes,
I feel the
they're
same
doing a
way.
great job. I commend each one of them. They're doing great.
Yeah, there's going through their budgets. They were in super shape. They've been planned out really well, and for that they do deserve a commendation for that. Thank you guys. Not only for that, but so I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but I don't know if John, he may have skipped out on it, but almost every department, someone from every department was involved in those Christmas lights. You were probably directing traffic. Yeah. I mean, that really was an entire citywide undertaking. They all pitched in, and to me, that says a lot for the department heads. The fact that there's no bickering back and forth about that's your department, that's your job. They really are. They work really well together. Yeah. Anything else on that? Okay. John, tell us about.
Can I commend his department on one more thing?
Please do.
I'd like to commend your officers on the way they worked with the funeral we had a few weeks back. There was a big turnout, and they did a wonderful job. I just thought I was in awe. So I wanted to thank your officers for being there and being present. So.
I will definitely let them know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the Law Enforcement Supply Office. That's the 1033 program, whoever was part of that, Department of Defense. It's their overflow of stuff that they have, whether it be long guns, whether it be side-by-sides. I know Prairie Grove's gotten the 2 side-by-sides. And I might... Dozers, trailers, yes. And I don't want to sign us up for this to get helicopters, and I don't want to ever be audited and get ourselves in trouble. That can happen. But right now, we could get all the long guns that we need, that we don't have. I think our department owns one. We could get all those, and it would cost us $250 a month. Also, on top of that, if there's a side-by-side that we can use down at the park, we have the option to get that. You have a wish list you put in for it. It does cost you $250 a year. It's a yearly contract. Pretty much what they ask, if we have a rifle out there and we destroy it, we return it to them. We don't pay for that, we just return it to them. Really a no strings attached type deal. I know the state of Arizona used $15 million last year in this type of stuff. I would like us to be involved. It would be a way for our officers to carry guns that are issued to them, for them, instead of, right now what they're doing, if they want to carry a rifle, they're having to go out and buy it on their own, with their own money, and then take our courses. And I don't know, I commend them for doing it, but I don't think it's something they should have to do. That should be something that we supply for them. So that's my thoughts on that, is I think it would help us for now. You know, some future date, if we have the money to start putting in and getting that stuff ourselves, that would be good, but.
And they're expensive.
Yes, they are. To do them right and to get a decent weapon, they're high dollar. It would take many, many, many years to.
For long guns.
Yeah.
And
For
for,
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we pay you for Rock River ARs like $2,700 a piece
Yes,
outfitted.
yes. And you figure $250 a month or a year at that much money, and we're saving a lot of money. So it's really the thoughts I have on it.
Any questions for John regarding that? Is there a motion regarding?
I'll make it.
What's the motion?
The motion that we approve the $250 a year contract for law enforcement office.
Do we have a motion and a second?
You second it, did you not? Thank you.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Up next is an update on the city administration building project and the approval of 4 change orders equaling negative $1,280. Can you explain that to us, Christie?
So the 4 change orders that we have, 3 of the 4 are in our favor. We took one of the planned doors out and just put a wall in there. So we saved the expense of all the hardware in the door itself, plus the framing cost. So that was part of it. That was PC hardware. That was $1,138. That was for the door, and then Nabholz for $210. That was for their installation part. So we got both of those credited back to us. PC hardware also gave us a credit for $232. We took out the commercial toilet paper holders and paper towel holders, and we're just going to use our own. There's not going to be that many people in the restrooms and that stuff, so we just felt like we could save a little bit of money just by getting rid of the commercial. Plus, if you buy the commercial holders, you have to buy commercial toilet paper, and it's actually a lot more expensive to get the toilet paper that fits those holders. So we can do better just going and getting our own holders and using what we need in there. Yeah, and then the 4th one is actually, we had Will Joe, I think is how you say that, move some studs to increase the size of one office and decrease another one, and that cost us $300. So the total of the 4 together are the $1,280. Basically what that's done is gone back into our contingency, so our contingency is higher than it started at the beginning. We've got some plans for that contingency. There's one more change order that'll happen for the next meeting. The millwork, which is the cabinetry and stuff in what is going to be the water office. We were hoping to just refinish it and keep what was there, but it was not, the quality wasn't good enough to do that, so they are, I think that's around $1,200 that they're going to do a change order to just completely replace that cabinetry. And then we have gotten estimates on signage for in front of the building, and that's going to be right at $5,000 for a 6-foot sign, 6 foot by 3 foot, 6 foot by 3 foot sign that'll go out in front of the building on Centennial. So that'll be paid for in the contingency, so that'll still fall under budget with everything. There's a couple of other little minor things that they still feel like we'll have plenty of contingency for. There's some lighting that may or may not get changed out, and they said you wouldn't really know the difference if we don't, but they think that there'll be enough money left in the contingency to do that too. So right now they're sheetrocking. I think they're finishing up mudding. They're going to start painting this week. They're hoping to do some flooring next week. The mansard mansard, is that how you say that?
right.
Yeah. Should be, I think, starting next week on the exterior. They're going to start some exterior painting next week. And then they were going to start working on the parking lot and getting the cracks filled and the parking lot repainted and stuff. So it's coming along fast. As of right now, they are still saying it'll be ours 100% on February 9th. So we can start planning a ribbon cutting and opening and figure out what day we want that on. But it's moving like it's supposed to without any major hiccups. So, but for this, we do need to do a motion for the change orders, and I think as long as we've spelled them out, we can do that as one for what it is.
Okay. Any questions for Chrissy on that? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion we spell that out. Spell that out.
A second.
So we have a motion to approve the 4 change orders. Thank you, Don. And a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next, we have Resolution 2018-01, budget adjustments for 2017.
And I'll let you guys ask questions on the ones specifically, but I did want to point out on the street department, because it looks like it came in under budget, or over budget, I'm sorry. We had budgeted for 2017 for the street department to use $80,000 out of their reserves, and it ended up being the $35,000, so technically he wasn't over budget on that. But if there's specific questions on line items, me or them can answer them, I'm sure.
So one of them that Isaac has, I know, I looked at, there's a $3,000 overage for electricity. I think Isaac's getting ready to formulate a plan to reduce that sum. So. And it's, our pumps are running more than what they should. So we're going to do a refurbishment to those pumps.
Build a couple of pumps so that they work more efficiently.
You guys see any others that stick out to you? No? All right. Do we have a motion for this?
I make the motion.
Second. So we have a motion to approve budget adjustments for 2017. Second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, item number 4 is our opioid packet provided by City Attorney. Could you explain this to us?
Yes, sir. As y'all can imagine, several of the opioid manufacturers and some physicians groups that recommended more opioid use are being sued by various, what I call typically toxic tort lawyers or class action lawyers. And I don't know if one of them approached Municipal League or vice versa. The Municipal League is, well, I think maybe the only state at the time, maybe no one has now. They're going to join as a group so that each city can get maybe some compensation for what police have had to do, what your fire departments had to do. It's not like they have to turn in any expenses or anything like that. It's just they'll share an award. Some lawyers will get richer. Some lawyers are already rich and already have airplanes will get more airplanes. But if it works, some cities will get checks, I believe. You know, and I don't know if it'll be for specific equipment or to defray costs. My guess is it's just going to be general fund money. And there's no downside to it. We'll never pay anything. We'll want to pay a lawyer or anything like that. Only thing and I read the contract and I've talked to AML's general counsel, Tom Zerman. I just want to make sure that none of us have worked for these companies. But if I highly doubt any of us do, but none of them are local.
If you look on the first page of Exhibit A, there's a group of companies there, starting with Purdue Pharma, Teva Pharmaceuticals, Cephalon, Johnson & Johnson, Janssen, Ortho McNeil. Any of these ring a bell for anyone? Yes?
I've never worked for them.
Oh, yeah, do anybody work for them?
Does anybody ever work for a pharmaceutical company?
And then as far as maybe some of us might have a mutual fund that might be invested in those, that kind of situation doesn't raise a conflict.
That's good because our company's mutual fund, there's 3 companies on this list.
Yeah.
That they're invested in. And the one thing I noticed is the principals are indemnified. They've got a limited liability corporation, and we never see a downside. But that kind of rankles me because it's a no win, no fee contingency deal where the downside is if they do something wrong, the 2 principals are sheltered.
In litigation, I'm okay with that. I've defended enough class action litigation against cities to, I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I'd recommend doing it, and if we do, we'll sign tonight, I'll send it down to Little Rock, or Upper Rock, to make sure we get in there. And if there's ever any money comes out of the sky, we'll have our hand out for some of it.
Any questions on this? We're not the only city doing this.
No, it's going to sweep the
Yeah,
whole state.
I saw something the other day that a few signed up for it already, so.
My clients will do it, I hope.
Any questions? Do we have a motion concerning this?
I'll make the motion.
So we have a motion that we accept this?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second that we sign on to this, is it a class action lawsuit? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Who seconded the motion, Mayor?
Jan.
Okay, thank you, Jan.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. That is all we've had for the meeting. My only comments were again to remind everyone that we are trying to plan a ribbon cutting ceremony here, grand opening, if you will, for the new city administration building. We'll try to have some media there. I still have 2 ex-mayors to reach out to, get a hold of, but so far they are all planning on being there if they're available. So looks like we should have a good time at that. And Christy will send out details. We'll send an email to the council and everybody know specific time and date. Around February 9th.
I will say it is an easily attainable date. I think they're going to make it fine. The only thing, the seal coat on the parking lot. I've been teasing Isaac. I like the dry weather. It's nice to build with, but it creates problems. It created problems on our rainfall monitoring. Hopefully, luckily, there won't be any inclement weather, but that might affect the parking lot seal coat, because that's not something you want to get caught in the middle of with the rain event. I think there's
It seems like it's gone fast.
When it does good, it does go fast.
Yeah.
Like that on hiccup.
Just getting started, starting the process.
Yeah. All right, anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. We are adjourned.